Hey, howdy, hi, beings. Welcome. We're doing things a little different today. We're holding the microphone so you're not bombarded by my little girls breathing. Her name is Ivy. Welcome her to the club, to the family. Today we're talking about crystal charging and cleansing, truths and myths. Do you have to charge them? Do you have to cleanse them? Are they going to run out of energy? Will they still work? What's the dealio? And the answer is yes and no. They're still going to emit their energy. At the end of the day, always do what feels good and right to you, what feels necessary, and don't do the things that don't make sense or you don't have time for or make things complicated. There's no need to make things complicated. They're not going to necessarily run out of energy, but charging them will help them help us at their most optimum level. Okay. But when you charge them, that will also enable their energy to go further and to be more potent. So there are benefits from cleansing and recharging. These things go along with cleansing because you don't necessarily have to cleanse. They're going to do their thing. But when you cleanse, it makes their energy more clear, more potent, more able to help us at their highest potential, right? Because every person that touches a crystal or is super close to a crystal, that crystal can kind of, pick up on that energy and have some of that energy intertwined within its own. That's why a lot of people say that the first thing you need to do with crystals when you buy a new one is to cleanse them. Now, that is a very beneficial practice. If you only cleanse your crystals one time, let it be that time so that it's not being interfered with or having, energetic cords to others. If you want your crystal's energy to be more pure, then make sure that you are cleansing them when you first get them. After the fact, every so often is okay. Like me, I have a lot of crystals around my house, right? So every time I have people over, they're going to be taking on a little bit of that people's energy because they're literally scattered throughout my house. But that's why you use a cheater crystal, selenite, we're going to get into that in just a minute, to help both cleanse and recharge your crystals at the same time on autopilot. You ain't even got to think about it. So again, do what feels good and right to you. Always, 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 always. That goes with everything in your life. Spiritual, non-spiritual, crystals, non-crystals. What are some ways that you can cleanse and charge your crystals if you're not familiar? But you probably are if you're watching this, but maybe you're not because you're just getting into crystals. And if that's the case, if you're just getting into crystals, hit that subscribe button, go to my channel and look at the crystals playlist because I have lots of info on there for you to watch. So cleansing, the most common ones are smoke, water, sun, and earth. Smoke is going to consist of using like incense or sage or Palo Santo wood. You would just have that smoke going, put your crystal in it, and let it do its thing. Water, if you're using water, you obviously don't want to use a water soluble crystal like selenite, but you would want to use a natural running body of water. So like a river or a spring, something that's water, natural water moving. You don't want to just use tap water, right? Rainwater. Very good idea. Do rainwater. The sun is also an option for charging. This can be kind of a teeter-totter because some crystals like amethyst can get sun faded. So you want to pay attention to how often you're doing that, how long you're doing that. And again, time is just a concept. So really, if you just plop it out there for a couple moments, you can plop it back out. Theoretically, it's good to go, right? Time is just a concept. You don't have to leave them out there all day or for an hour. Same thing with the moon, which is with charging. We'll talk about that in a second. But the other way that you can cleanse is with earth. So you can bury them in sand, you can bury them in salt, you can bury them in dirt. Again, time is just a concept. So whatever amount of time feels good and right to you is how long that you should be using these elements to cleanse and or recharge your crystals. And if you pay attention to that list, elements is exactly what these are. Smoke, that comes from the fire element, right? Water element. Sun, that's also a fire element. Earth, obviously, earth element. Smoke, you could also say, is air. For charging, full moon is what you hear about the most. This is accurate. But when you have a giant collection, this gets very tedious. You don't want to gather all your crystals every single month to charge them under the full moon. Not to mention, like, what am I going to have? 5 trays worth? I used to put them all on one, like, baking tray, and they ain't all gonna fit on one tray anymore, okay? I stopped doing it when when they stopped fitting on that tray, and I started scratching that tray, which we do not want. We do not like scratched baking trays, okay? So the full moon, you can set them out all night. Again, maybe this is just a best practice for when you first get a crystal. You want to incorporate it into your practice, but you don't want to do it every single month, or even just like every quarter, or around the solstices, or when the seasons are changing. Those are good times to do this as well. If you don't want to do it on the regular, but you do want to incorporate it somehow. So for sure, cleanse and recharge when you first get crystals is best practice at the least. And then maybe every quarter or every seasonal change is another great way to incorporate it, but that you don't have to do it every single month. And the sun, again, with charging, same thing. You can cleanse and recharge with the sun, like I said earlier. Just be mindful of what crystals are going to be sun faded if you're leaving them in there, or in the sunlight for a lengthy amount of time. And selenite crystal, like I said earlier, is a cheater crystal, I like to call it, because it's going to cleanse and recharge your crystals at the same time, because they are connected to the moon. They are naturally cleansing, naturally just doing good high vibrational things. So if you scatter selenite throughout your home, with the rest of your crystals being scattered throughout your home, all your crystals are naturally going to be cleansing and recharging because of that selenite. Then you might be thinking, okay, well, what about the selenite always cleansing and recharging? Well, maybe that is a specific crystal that you might want to cleanse and recharge on the regular so that it can do that high demanding job. So that is a large, high demand job that it's doing if you're having him cleanse and recharge all of your crystals all the time on the regular, right? So if you want to look into getting selenite to add to your collection, or any other crystals to add to your collection, check out my personal crystal shop at evolvingmundane.com. I'm always getting new things in and restocking. Those always also linked in the description for you. So definitely check that out. Drop in the comments if you ever want me to get something specific or look into something specific. Also drop in the comments if you have any questions about today, or any other questions not related to this video. Also, I could make a special video just for your question if needed. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I love you. And may your life be full of love. I know mine is. See you next time, beings.